Hey pals, welcome back to a new video. I hope you can excuse the lapse in communication because I've been very busy becoming a game director on Insignia, which is now a team project because it has some funding. Yes, this is true. This has happened. So basically a year and a half ago, I put together a video saying that I wanted to move towards having the game be a team project. And I put a call out for expressions of interest from composers and programmers and artists, and I got lots of applications for that. And then right around the end of last year, I set my heart on grant funding as a way to essentially afford to scale the project. So there were a few options there that I wanted to be very careful about playing with from as early as like July 2023. I was looking at options and then decided, right around November, December 2023, that I wanted to go for grant funding. Then from January through all the way till April, I essentially applied for 2 grants. I put together these applications with demos of the game and video explaining what the pitch for the project was going to be and why it was going to be valuable for the Australian game industry and the local game industry in New South Wales, the state that I live in, as well as putting together some additional documentation, basically research docs, showing that I have an understanding of the industry and what's going on in the pixel art, action, adventure, RPG sphere. I'd love to do some more content about that application and about that competitive analysis that I did, but we'll save that for another video. So suffice it to say, basically from April until end of July, I was waiting to know if this was ever going to happen. These are very competitive grants, and the sum total of the funding would amount to something like 130,000 across the 2 grants. And Insignia was successful in both of them. So yeah, from end of July until now, I've been acquiring some legal advice, going through contracts. I've been pulling together that team that I nominated. So yeah, being like a business guy and directing the game has been my main focus since essentially January this year. It's been like 50% of my time, and I haven't been able to really talk about any of it because I've been, of course, embargoed from saying anything about it until now. If you're watching this video, the press releases have come out, and so it's public knowledge. I found this process extremely stressful and made working on the game very difficult because I obviously couldn't work on the parts of the game that I had budgeted for inside of the grant proposals. So if I was to say in the grant proposal, well, I'll have an animator work on enemy XYZ, then I can't work on that enemy until I know that we do or don't have the funding so that I can set that schedule for that person to work on. So it's been kind of awkward, but it's been a really good opportunity for me to revisit the basically marketing proposal for the game and the production scope for what the game should be. So your next question is probably like, oh, great. Like, can we learn more about the project? Can we wishlist? And the answer to all of that is like, not just yet. While the game is still in this like team building, ramping up phase and not in like full production with a release date and like a marketing campaign locked in, there are still things that I need to determine before I can start showing you things like trailers that inform who the game is for. Even though like so much of the game is locked in, it's that tone stuff that there's still some unfinished decisions to make regarding like game feel. Before we go into things like marketing and Steam wish lists and Kickstarters and stuff like that, suffice it to say, that stuff is like, it's around the corner. So if you are interested in Insignia and you want to follow along with the project, being part of this channel is a huge help. This is like part of the reason why I was able to secure the funding. In a most recent video, I was talking about how being a content creator can help market your game and that it can be part of your career. What I wasn't able to say at the time was that, opportunities like this to get actual funding from your game are easier to come by when you are a content creator. It helps you immensely to have an audience. So thank you for being in my audience. And if you're interested in getting closer to the game and helping the game get released, then of course, for now, the best way to do that is to go to my live stream. I stream 5 days a week for like 5 hours a day. You can catch me at twitch.tv/AdamCYunus. So don't forget that. And of course, I will be calling on you in the near future when we do things like Kickstarters and when there are public demos around. It's going to happen. It's not far. You just got to be a bit more patient. The next question you probably have is, will I still be making tutorials? Of course, this is something that there's no hard plans not to make any more tutorials. I love making tutorials when I can, but just understand that the energy that I have to produce content for this channel is kind of secondary to the energy that I have to put in for the game and its best interests. What I hope to be able to do is bring you on this journey with me and show you what real game development is like. It's always been a little bit the plan for Indie Tales to be more than just the Adam C. Eunice show. And to the extent that the studio that I have grows, hopefully so too will the story and the faces that you see in the stream, at least, or maybe even here in the channel if things go well and I can ensure that the team isn't too camera shy. I know for those of you who have been watching the channel for a long time, you're probably wondering, like, how has this project not gotten stuck forever in development hell? How is it that it hasn't just fizzled out? Like, has it really been progress all this time, or have you been stuck for like years and years? And the answer really for me is no. Like, it's been forward steps, but when you build a castle yourself, it takes a long time, especially if you're learning how to do it on the job. Coding, art, building a name for yourself, and building connections and securing pathways to grow into a team. Like, this stuff takes time to do. And I'm very close to being at a place where I can now focus on telling you the story of Insignia, not just the story of systems that I'm building or techniques that I learned. And I can't wait to spend a little bit less time talking about Adam and a little bit more time talking about Armin, the game's protagonist. Setting up this world has been such a huge task for me, and being able to share with you the actual story, to be in that fantasy, is something that I've been waiting for a long time. So it's quite difficult for me to appreciate that this is happening, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. So yeah, I am somebody who has a lot of passions. You know, I love teaching, I love engineering, I love design, I love process. But this game started from my love of stories, and having the privilege of coming back to that to actually fulfill the storytelling side of it and to build a world, and the idea that one day people might be playing around in that world, that's real for me. So thank you so much. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your support. Please stay tuned. Come watch the stream if you're around, and let's make Insignia happen. Okay, that's it. That's the video. I'll see you all for the next one.